Bro, Mujin made a whole video about Diddy parties. Oh man. Okay, let's keep it real for a second, bro. Absolutely, P. Diddy probably did a whole bunch of terrible things. But at the same time, bro, the memes about the baby oil is crazy. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party, or
Oh
so you've
man.
heard. Because
Oh
if you've been on the
man.
internet for the
Ain't
last
no party
month or
like a
so,
Diddy
you've
party. Oh
definitely
man.
seen it being talked about
Wow.
extensively.
Oh
You've also
wow.
no doubt heard about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil that were seized from multiple properties that
I didn't know anything about that. I thought the baby oil thing was a joke, bro. That's a lot of baby oil. I ain't gonna lie. Some freaky ass party, man.
Diddy owns back when they were
Oh man.
raided by federal agents
The
in March of
feds.
2024.
Oh
And what
man.
doesn't help in all this is that you've probably heard of the federal indictment that was made against Diddy, and
Oh,
how a
that's not good.
federal agent, as seriously as possible, referred to his parties as freak offs.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like some freaky. I mean, bro, he had thousands of baby oil. Like, no, like, of course, some freaky stuff was going on, man.
And control
That's insane.
performances, which he called freak-offs.
I'd say that's kind of the extent most people know about this. And many are laughing their asses about this. I mean, come on.
I don't blame
1,000
them.
bottles of baby oil.
That's a lot.
Freak-offs in a legal
That is a
context.
lot.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Come on,
That's
man. I mean,
crazy.
it's understandable. All these things are really ridiculous. But Diddy right now is facing 3 indictments. Not 1
Damn.
or 2, 3.
And if you guys didn't know, man, the FBI, they got a 99% conviction rate. So once they get you, they got you. And they got 3. Oh man, we ain't gonna be seeing Diddy for a long time. Honestly, like as much as people want to joke about it, right? Because it's like, oh, freak off oils Diddy party, right? It's freaky, it's crazy, and we want to laugh about it. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of people were friends or cool with P. Diddy, like from the Kardashians, Elon Musk. A lot of people like this is some Epstein levels type of you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna say no more about that. We all know he didn't, disappear on his own. But hey man, it's some crazy stuff that be going on in the world, and all we can do is sit back and laugh about it. But yeah, a lot of people gonna probably want to cover this up.
And obviously,
The eyes
it's not
open.
because he owned 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's not a crime. Here are some of the things he's being charged with: sex
Let's hear it.
trafficking,
Damn.
forced labor, arson,
Forced
bribery,
labor.
obstruction
Damn.
of justice, and
Damn.
interstate transportation for prostitution. All falling
Yikes.
in line with the major case he's being indicted with, which is a
And this is of course, right, bro. Trafficking, bad. Forced labor, bad. Arson, bad. But the big one on here, bribery, because it takes multiple people to bribe. So who did he bribe, and what for? That's a big one. Bribery is a big one, and interstate transportation of the oldest profession in the world. Interstate. That means they're going around. So maybe, these 2 things definitely got something in common. So who were the ones that were saying, yeah, I'll be quiet if you give me a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? But he also like Diddy is actually known for being violent, like legitimately. So he's just I ain't gonna lie, man. He might actually legitimately like just, you know what I'm saying?
RICO,
It's crazy.
racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations.
Racketeering's big.
This was something created in
big.
particular to take
For the
down
mafia.
mafias of New York.
Yep.
And it successfully did so.
Yes.
Destroying all the crime families by putting the head bosses all in prison for life. And now P. Diddy, otherwise known as Sean Combs, is being charged with it. That's huge. Make no
Absolutely.
mistake, he's a criminal.
By the way, this is Sean Sean, not Shawn like your boy. No relation.
Of the highest degree. The things he's done are horrible.
Yes.
And he's done them over the course of 2 decades or more.
Yes.
This wasn't done just by him. He didn't do it alone.
Of course not.
This is why the charge is a RICO. This was
Yes.
an enterprise, an empire of
Damn
evil.
right.
And
It
it's
was.
all come crashing down. But to really understand the significance
This
of
is
this
big.
empire and where it came
This is
from,
absolutely
we have to
big.
talk about the very big elephant in the room. What the hell is a Diddy party? Let's do this.
Some
So
freaky
look, Sean Combs, otherwise known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Love, Brother Love, the list goes on.
Brother
He's a very
Love.
successful
Oh,
rapper,
no.
but also record label producer.
Record
He had
label
established
producer,
the beginning of his empire
alcohol,
in the 1990s. He
distribution.
had signed artists such as Usher, Mary
didn't know
J.
that.
Blige,
I
and
didn't know
of
that.
course, none other than Biggie Smalls, one
R.I.P..
of the most influential rappers
Puff
of
Daddy.
all
Junior
time.
Mafia.
This, of course, made
Yeah.
him very successful. His own music
100%.
career was also very successful, winning 3 Grammys.
Damn.
But before he even got into this business and was
3.
still in college, he already had a reputation of being an insane party thrower. He would
Yes.
have these massive parties with up to 1,000 people even before getting into the rap game. So
Damn.
naturally, as he was gaining so
People
much
know him.
money and fame, he wanted to use this talent and bring it to the next level. And that's exactly what he did, starting as early as the late 1990s. These parties were absolutely
Damn.
wild. Part of the reason why Diddy had such a successful music career and label was because he understood what marketing meant. There are some articles out there before 2024 calling his parties an art form. He had essentially taken a concept that everyone understands, which are
Yeah.
parties, and elevated them. Here's an example. This right here is an image from
All
one of his
white
very
parties.
famous
Yep.
white parties, where all the people who were invited
All
had
white.
to wear the color white. Otherwise, they wouldn't be let in. At the time, this was something very new, especially for the hip-hop scene. It
100%.
simply wasn't something anyone was used to, and it got people talking quite a lot.
Yeah.
Diddy had a talent, how to throw a good party and how to make everyone there feel like it's extremely exclusive. Word would spread of these parties throughout
Lot of
many
famous
social
people
circles,
are
and all
here.
of a sudden you had many people
Many.
wanting to join them. You had
Yes.
celebrities such as Jennifer Lopez, Jay-Z
Yeah.
was always there, Aaliyah, etc., etc. The list goes on. I
Yep.
mean, look, you have Will Smith, you have Bruce
Will
Willis
Smith,
sitting over here in
everyone.
a picture from 2004.
And look, I want to say this before, it gets too crazy. Not everybody that is there definitely knew about every single thing that went on, right? It's definitely one of those things where it's like, oh, this guy, he's a famous rapper, he has Grammys, right? And they only see the good images. And so, of course, they want to come to the parties. It's good for networking. And apparently, it's a good time. I did see a video on Instagram where he was like, all the kids, y'all got to leave in about an hour. Till then, enjoy yourselves. In about an hour, it's going to turn into a place you want to come to when you get older. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of wild to say that. Like after everything we know, he's talking about like y'all gonna want to come to these parties, when y'all get older. That's kind of wild, to be honest. But yeah, he definitely didn't do this out in the open. Like I'm pretty sure there was a set amount of people specifically that knew about the darker side of the parties. You know what I'm saying? With the baby oils and all that. But who legitimately knew? I mean, shoot, we might find out, we might not, but hey, at the end of the day, bro, P. Diddy definitely was into some freak stuff. You feel me? It's
Leonardo
crazy.
DiCaprio was at one of those parties in 1999. Many others were too. Everyone wanted to see what the hell a Diddy party was.
Bro,
because everyone
like,
spoke
what is
about
this?
them so highly. I mean, look at this image right here.
Yes.
He's eating a strawberry off of a naked woman's body. Like, this is something you would see in a movie, in a series, not in
He
real
lives.
life.
This is
At some
him.
point, he
Yeah,
even managed to get
yeah, movie star.
royalty in his damn parties.
Wow.
You can see Kanye West with the
Wow.
royal princes of England
Wow.
at one of his parties. That's crazy.
That's big.
Look, by that point,
And that's an old
the Diddy
photo.
party wasn't just a party. If you were a celebrity in music, in acting, in whatever, you wanted, no, scratch that, you needed
Yes.
an invite to a Diddy party when it was happening. If you didn't get one, it simply meant that you were
You didn't
not
go.
relevant enough.
Yep.
You were not culturally significant enough
You're not
to
popping.
be in this party.
Yep.
So celebrities did everything they could to get their agent or manager to get an invite. But getting the invite was half the challenge. When you would get to his parties, he would have staff members outside examine your outfit. If your
Yep.
shoes were just a tiny bit dirty, if your outfit didn't make sense or didn't look good enough, if the brand you were wearing wasn't expensive enough, they would flat out tell you you're
You're not allowed.
going in,
Yep.
leave. It didn't matter if your name was Kim Kardashian or Paris Hilton. You showed up with an outfit that they didn't like, you're not getting in. This is all part of the
Exclusivity.
marketing
That's
scheme.
part of it,
highly
yeah. It's
very hard
exclusive.
to get into, and when you
Yeah.
do get there, you feel very proud. Like, wow, I made
I
it.
made
And
it.
in some
Yeah.
way, you
Type
did.
shit. You
Diddy's
did.
parties
Yeah.
would essentially
They're
seem like
big.
something out of The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people these days who tell you to quote unquote network to get to your dreams. They typically mean an expo or a job fair. Well, that's all bullshit.
Yeah,
Real
it is
networking
bullshit.
was something like a Diddy party. You
Yeah.
would go there as a
You meet
good enough hip hop artist, and all of a sudden,
other
you
people.
were seeing Wall Street executives. You were
Yes.
seeing business owners. You were seeing people with billions of dollars. You were
That's
seeing
networking.
actors that you see on television at your home. And the music and the party that was playing on the speakers, the artist behind it was most likely in the party right in front of you as well. What
Exactly.
Sean Combs had done was legitimize the hip hop scene, was make it seem mainstream to people who would have seen it as ghetto, as dangerous. He made it attractive. He made people want to get to these parties, beg to get to these parties, and he loved it. This is
Yeah.
why everyone wanted to be on his good side, wanted
Post
to please
Malone.
him no matter what. Diddy had effectively created that environment. He had immense power to do anything
Yes.
he wanted. And
Yes, exactly.
as you might have guessed, he used that power in the worst ways possible. It
Mhm.
didn't matter.
And if anything, it might have even entertained some of those big executive, those multi-billionaires that could get whatever they want, legitimately whatever they want, right? So, like when I said this is on some Epstein levels, like 100%, bro.
Whether you were a celebrity or someone being human trafficked, he used his power to take advantage of everyone. And he did it for over 20 years.
Yep. Had
What
a
do you
whole
call a
empire.
party with a bunch of drugs, a van delivering victims of human trafficking and prostitutes across state lines, and a lot of IV to make sure that after having sex for 3 days, you don't die from malnutrition? Well, that's an easy answer, isn't it? You call it a Diddy party.
That's
But
crazy.
before we get into that, let's look at this lawsuit filed by Rodney Jones,
All right, let's check
otherwise
it out.
known as Lil Rod, a music artist who was promised fame and fortune by Diddy, but instead ended up with trauma, PTSD, and overall a hell on earth experience. This was filed on the 26th of February of the year 2024 against Sean Combs and many of his
And he
accomplices.
is brave to do
It's
that.
73 pages long, and guys, the
Brave.
content in there can probably traumatize someone who's innocent. I mean,
Yes.
this lawsuit literally has a trigger warning. That's
Yes.
insane. There are
Yes.
many incidents in this lawsuit going back years ago, but there's one in particular I want to talk to you about.
Mr. Combs forced all the women to drink Lace DeLong liquor. Upon information belief, Mr. Combs laced the liquor with ecstasy. Like, that's all I needed to read.
Wouldn't just throw
That's
these
all
big,
I needed to
lavish
read,
parties
bro.
like his white
That's it.
parties for
That's
big
all I
high-profile
needed to read.
celebrities. He would also throw smaller parties. This incident was actually very recent, held on July 2nd, 2023 in California. Diddy had a listening party at his home. He invited an R&B artist whose name is redacted, and of course, Rodney Jones. The event began at 7 p.m. Now, this time, Rodney had no idea what was going on. He was just invited by Diddy, and I mean, you don't say no to an invite by Diddy. There were many
Exactly.
sex workers there, but more importantly, there were at least 5 women in the crowd that were under the age of 16, okay?
Oh,
Let me
man.
just read that again.
Oh,
At
man.
least
Oh,
5
man.
women were under
Oh,
the
man.
age of 16.
Oh, man. Oh,
Now, of course,
boy.
Rodney Jones, being a
Yikes.
decent human being, saw that and was like, yo, this is screwed up. I don't want to be a part of this. It makes me very
Understandable,
uncomfortable.
bro.
He
Yes.
attempted to leave. But of course, Diddy forced him to stay.
Nah, you
Rodney
can't go.
insisted. Diddy took away his car keys. Diddy then gave everyone in the room, including, of course, the underage girls, DeLeon liquor. The only thing to keep in mind here is that this wasn't normal liquor, it was spiked with something that would absolutely knock you the hell out. He forced Rodney to drink it too. He felt lightheaded, passed out. He woke up the next morning at 4 a.m., couldn't remember a single thing that happened last night, but that didn't matter. He was naked. He looked to his side and he saw a naked sex worker sleeping next to him. It wouldn't have taken a genius to understand what had happened, and it wasn't pretty at
No,
all. This
absolutely
lawsuit
not.
contains screenshots of a
That's
video
crazy.
from that night.
Oh,
In these
hell.
screenshots, you can see Diddy and his son, who was also a part of this whole
man.
mess, interacting with underage girls. One of these images is actually Diddy going for a kiss on the lips of one of these underage girls, but of course, their faces are hidden and I'm not going to show this on YouTube. I don't want my channel to
100%.
get deleted. But believe it or not, things would get even messier, and this is
That's
something
crazy.
that Diddy would do repeatedly over the years with his many victims. Rodney did not want to be a part of this, but he was
Of course.
forced.
You're like, yeah, and that's the crazy part. Of course, he's gonna force him into this because how can you snitch when you're a part of it? Like now, technically speaking, Rodney would be an accomplice, but of course, he did, speak out against it. At the same time, it's like they got dirt on him. So like, yeah, he might end up having to go down, but I mean, hey, at this point, you was forced to go down. So hey, shout out to Rodney for actually being brave enough because honestly, they might put something on this man's head to make him disappear. Luckily, that didn't happen. Hopefully it don't happen. But yeah, man, when you dealing with like people that have billions, millions, and they doing dark and evil things, like not every millionaire is doing this type of stuff. That being said, there are people that do these type of things, and they usually get away with it at least for a while. Like Diddy was getting away with it for 20 years, right? He eventually got caught. How many people lives do you think he messed up in the span of those 20 years? And he was having hundreds and thousands of people at these parties. Bro, then that's crazy.
He was promised by Diddy fame
nobody
and
said
opportunity
nothing.
in the music industry.
That's crazy.
He was invited to a listening party thinking that this could be a chance to network
For
with
music.
other people. He was instead forced to engage in illegal acts even though he wanted to leave. And guess what? Everything was recorded. So that meant if Rodney
There it
wanted to
is.
say no to anything Diddy wanted in the future,
It's
he could
on
just
camera.
blackmail him with the footage
Yeah.
that was taken of him when he wasn't
100%.
even conscious. I mean, this lawsuit alleges that Diddy attempted to pass off Rodney to one of his friends. His friend, Cuba Gooding
What?
Jr., was obviously gay. Diddy was
Oh,
giving
man.
him Rodney like he was some sort of prostitute. And I should
Yeah.
mention, he did not have Rodney's consent. In fact,
course.
Rodney had no idea what was going on. He was just being touched. He tried to back off as much as he could, but every time he backed off, Cuba would get closer to him. This is something that Jeffrey Epstein would do to his victims as
Remember what I said earlier, bro. I'm telling you, this case is big.
well. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because it does relate to his Diddy parties. Most of them were recorded digitally, and many were seized during the raids on his properties. This was a way to uphold his power, to make sure no one talks. These smaller scale parties would happen quite a bit, and they weren't just managed by Diddy, of course, it was also managed by his high-ranking staff at his multiple companies. This is why it's a RICO, right? This is an
Yes.
enterprise. There were many people that were involved here that would be helping him out to cover his tracks and to set
100%.
up these terrible situations at numerous hotels around the country. Those 1,000 bottles of baby oil would be sent by these people to those hotel rooms. If the hotel room was damaged, they would help repair it.
Yep.
If there were any legal
Repair it,
issues,
cover
they
it
would
up.
help to pay them off
They
or
pay it
just
off.
straight up commit bribery. In
Yep.
2016, there was footage that leaked to CNN of him beating up his ex-girlfriend
Damn.
pretty damn violently, and it
Holy
leaked.
moly.
He had paid the hotel $50,000
To get rid
keep
of
this
it.
a secret, but they still leaked it anyway.
Of
Thankfully.
course.
He then apologized for it, but I mean, come on. We know
Bro,
this is
no.
bullshit. He said he
Yeah,
was
of
going to
course.
therapy, he was trying to
No.
better himself.
No, he's sorry because he got caught.
No, you're not. This is something you've been doing for over 2 decades. In a way, one could say that Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Combs were 2 apples from the same tree. 2 things were
100%.
different though. Number 1, the clientele. Epstein went for world elites. Combs went for celebrities, but not the ones who controlled the entire world order. And 2, Epstein tried to hide it, even buying an entire island to seclude his activities. Diddy would let his ego get to him, and he wouldn't be as
Started
low-key
bribing-
as someone like Epstein.
blabbing
In
about it
2002,
on
he had
TV.
an interview with Conan O'Brien on national television. Here's what he
Talking
had to
about
say
his
about
parties.
his parties. Watch.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Now, we need alcohols.
Right,
Alcohols.
right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just a different
Plurals.
blend. You need the
Blends.
ladies, you need the booze.
You need some water.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, this shit is crazy.
For watering plants?
Because like we never knew the whole like 2002, bro. Like nobody knew. Some people obviously knew, but like, bro, he is on live television talking about his situation. Of course, making it sound fun and making it look good. Like, damn, this is crazy.
No, I don't know if guys have noticed this. Like, a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They
Right.
just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right,
Gotta
right.
keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
For real.
It's a little kinky, but
Yeah, yeah.
rock with me. But just
Right.
check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot
Heat.
of heat. Yeah.
Heat.
You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting.
Bro, like this is some absolute freak shit. Like he's using science to make his stuff seem more attractive. Like he's talking about, yeah, you get a little sweat in, the alcohol and make you feel good, make you lose, make you want to do all types of stuff. Like, bro, he had it down to a science. To a science, man. That means he's a professional, whatever it is we're gonna call Diddy. Like if you want to call him whatever, I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't want to get in trouble, right? But whatever you want to call him, he is a professional that. And that is insane.
What are you doing?
Depends
This
on
is crazy.
Depends. Oh, people
Yeah.
start getting gets kind of sexy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you sex.
People didn't really know at the time, but here he was explaining
Hell nah.
freak off. And he went into painful detail as to what he would do to seduce women, making sure there's multiple types of alcohol, turning off
Locks on the
so they
doors.
sweat their asses off, and having locks on the door. He revealed this on national television, and it was 22 years ago. Look, the reality here is simple. He would make his guests get really drunk, or even better, spike their drinks. It would make them delirious and docile. If they didn't like it, they couldn't escape. Sometimes his guests wouldn't need to be docile, they would be very much into it. He would only need to spike the drinks of the prostitutes and the human trafficking victims so that they remain docile. His guests would then have their way with them. The parties would last for days. We're not talking just one night, up to 3 days sometimes of just straight up debauchery. IV would then be taken out to be given to the prostitutes, to the people who were human trafficked over here, so that they, don't die. This is absolutely crazy. The fact that they needed IV to be able to recover from how much debauchery they went through.
Bro has medical staff on standby to put IVs inside their bodies so they don't pass away. That is absolutely insane, bro. And in 3 days? Bro, somebody knew.
This is what
many people probably knew. Many people knew.
Enterprise for this.
No way.
To source victims of human trafficking to show up to any party he wanted or any hotel room he wanted.
That's crazy.
It was an entire enterprise dedicated to one thing and one thing only: the pleasures of one extremely fucked in the head pervert, Sean Combs. However,
professional pervert. Yeah, let's say that.
Wasn't just limited to the parties and the freak-offs. It also involved arson, intimidation, and worst of all, murder. Back to Rodney Jones' lawsuit, he alleges that Diddy had shot someone he disagreed with in the bathroom of his studio. There was a meeting with multiple people, Diddy included, and the victim in question. They started disagreeing on something. Diddy told them to bring the argument to the bathroom, and then after that, you heard shots, and the victim was dead. There are images in the lawsuit of the blood and the clothes that were left in the aftermath in that bathroom, but Mr. Combs instructed his staff to say that this person was shot outside the studio and somehow got away with it. This was just another day.
If you didn't think this man was evil before, taking another human being's life, and maybe that human being that was there, maybe they were also evil, right? I don't know. We don't know. At the end of the day, bro, we can all agree that is always the step too far, bro. To shoot somebody in cold blood because they had a disagreement and you disagreeing over some crazy stuff that's going on in these parties. Oh man, this is absolutely insane, man.
In the life of Diddy. That's
like lives are being taken and people are being quiet. Yeah, you definitely know. Oh, you definitely know people they either gonna hush up or they're gonna disappear.
At some point, the artist
Point blank,
Kid Cudi
period.
was getting a bit too friendly
Even Kid
with
Cudi?
Diddy's ex-girlfriend. What does Diddy do?
Man.
He firebombs his car, hoping to kill him. Thankfully, he survived. Tupac, a rapper that even people from countries far away from the United States know about, was the target of a very infamous assassination back in 1996.
Bro, Eminem has been talking about how P. Diddy was a person that did it and he's been saying it, especially recently, been talking about how P. Diddy is the one that hit him up.
Legally speaking, we still have no idea who did it. Now his family has hired an attorney to investigate a possible link between his murder and Diddy. People think the same thing happened to Biggie Smalls. Even though he was signed to the record label of Diddy, people allege that he had murdered him for disagreements and other reasons back in 1997. 2 years later, in 1999, Diddy admits that Biggie's death actually helped boost his music career and was only positive for him. Who would say that? Who says something like that? It almost sounds like he did it, and it worked. To put it simply, people were terrified of Diddy.
Of course.
This fear extended to everyone, not just in the hip-hop or rap community, but the entire entertainment industry. People
remember what I said?
Because he was insane. In Eminem's song called Kill Shot, he says this: "But Kells, the day you put out a hit's the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac killed."
And this was a long time. This was 6 years ago that this song came out.
Referencing how he thinks that Diddy had killed Tupac. But hell, even Eminem was scared shitless. He ended the song by saying, "And I'm just playing, Diddy, you know I love you." Even he knew that if he pissed off Diddy, he could lose his life. One of the only rappers that didn't care and publicly was against Diddy, even
50
though
the
it
realest,
cost them their life,
for
was
real.
50 Cent. In 2006,
50
he had made a
gives
track
no
directly
Fs.
accusing Diddy of killing Biggie Smalls. He made sure to never attend any Diddy party. He would also openly admit in interviews that he felt like something was very off with Sean Combs. And now, of course, people are saying that he was always right. Lastly, I'd like to bring up something else that Diddy did over the years, and that was grooming up-and-coming talents when they were young. Most notably, Usher when he was 13 years old and Justin Bieber when he was 15 years old. But with Justin in particular, we have more footage.
Bro, we got
more
footage of him
resources to
touching on
understand
Justin.
what happened over the course of many years. Bieber gained fame when he shared music on his YouTube channel. He was then discovered by an agent in 2008. That was the start of his massive music career. Diddy took notice of this, and in 2009, he reached out and invited Justin Bieber to stay with him in his mansion for 48 hours. Since he was a minor, his parents had to sign off on this, giving him permission. And they did, no doubt being attracted by the money and
Exactly, because I can't even really, like, one half of me wants to blame the parents, and then the other half is like, their child is becoming successful, and now famous people are reaching out to them. His parents most likely don't know anything that goes on in Diddy's life because remember, P. Diddy, celebrity, millionaire, right? His parents aren't going to know. And it's like, bro, like, what did Justin see? And I don't even want to know what Justin saw because Justin probably saw a whole bunch of terrible shit, right? I, Bro, this world is crazy.
fame, and
Absolutely
seriously,
crazy.
what a terrible decision on their
It's crazy.
part. Dude is
Absolutely
called
crazy.
Diddy. That's like a nickname for Diddler. We could only sit here and imagine what happened
Bruh.
during those 48 hours. But what I find interesting is
Diddler.
this clip. On an interview with Jimmy Kimmel, Justin Bieber actually brings up those 48 hours. And Diddy's reaction was very interesting to say the least. Watch.
Got me a Lamborghini. It's,
Oh,
I just
well, that's
haven't-
nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Now back then, this
Yikes.
might have seemed innocent. Now when we look at Diddy's
Nah.
body language, we kind of see that he was nervous.
He said, "You know
Watch it again.
better."
Look at him looking around, being a bit nervous, touching his leg, going back and forth, almost like he's hoping that Justin doesn't reveal too much. In 2020, Justin Bieber had an interview talking about his trauma in the music industry, how he felt like he was used, how people didn't have his back like he thought they did, the many challenges he went through, and honestly, it just sounds like a victim of abuse.
Of
So I
course.
was very confused.
Bro, and this is for all of them. Like, all of these kids that ended up in the entertainment industry, like, young, bro. Justin, Miley, Selena Gomez, right? And we know what happened with Selena Gomez when she was on Nick and the stuff that, Dan Schneider made her do, right? A lot of these people are absolutely sick. And of course, they're going to take advantage of the young because they got rich. They have money, they have status, they have people that will keep quiet and protect them. And the children, they don't know any better. So of course it's easy for them to like try and say something or like, oh, I'll make you famous if you get on my show. Or I'll make you famous if you come to my house. I'll make you famous this and that. And the kid can only like, oh, okay, you got my best interest at heart. Because they don't know any better. Bro, like, oh man. And it's like you can see what happens to these people. Like Britney Spears, like shaved her head, she was going crazy. Like, I don't blame her for going crazy. Bro, like all these people are having terrible experiences and it's then like thrown into the spotlight the result, but nobody knows the causes. The causes are what's in the shadows. All you can see is just what happens afterwards, what makes them go and say, remember when Justin was like fighting paparazzi and having a whole bunch of crazy stuff going down? Remember when Miley Cyrus started going crazy as well? Like, they're going crazy because nobody has their back and they're rich, famous, and young. And of course, other people, if they even came out and tried to say like, oh, I have an issue, I have this and that, there's going to be some naysayer online that's like, oh, you're rich, shut up. Oh, you're famous. Oh, boo hoo. Oh, go cry with your millions of dollars. Because it's like, even though they have millions of dollars, people act like they're not human. And that's absolutely disgusting and distasteful. Just because you have money does not mean you're immediately no longer human or you no longer have feelings. If anything, when you're young and you have money, that's way worse than if you were older and had money because you don't even know what to do with it. You have other people that are going to come in and try and use you and take it away from you. You have and it might be even family members that do it, bro. Family members, the people that are supposed to have your back, they're not going to have it because they're too busy looking at what they can gain from you. It's absolutely disgusting and atrocious. And like I'm upset, but at the same time, like I'm conscious of this. I'm aware of the fact that this stuff happens. And I just wish more people are aware of it and more people could show empathy to people like Justin and Selena and all these other people that were young stars. And then you see them go crazy. What made them go crazy? Because it wasn't just the paparazzi, right? It was something behind closed doors that we don't know about and we don't find out till years, decades even later. Absolutely disgusting.
As a kid, someone who was taken advantage of, and someone who's still recovering even today. But over the years, Diddy would keep visiting him. He would keep kind of pressuring him to stay in touch. He wouldn't.
Of course, like keep him hushed because whatever he did, like when Justin gets older, he has the ability to talk for himself. When he has his own security, has his own money, he can speak for himself, right? So of course, Diddy's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, keep me tapped in. Like, what's going on? Like, how are you? Like, try and be the nice guy and try and stay on his good side, so nothing ever comes out." Absolutely, bro. Like this is manipulation at its finest.
Let him leave no matter what. At a certain point, they met up when Justin was way older and he patted him down for a wire, thinking that he was working with the feds against him. Look at this. He's trying to keep it discreet, but he's patting him. He's making sure that there's nothing in there.
He ain't doing it for no reason.
Now, why would you do that if you had nothing to hide, if you weren't guilty? Justin and Usher were obviously not the only ones here. There are many, many tapes that were seized, and some of them are being sold on the dark web. One of those victims is yet another A-list star who didn't reveal their name, but who is horrified at the fact that it's being circulated now, having to relive this trauma. Another
Yes.
star caught in the crossfire
Meek
is
Mill.
Meek Mill.
Yes.
We have a leaked audio tape of him getting absolutely ass blasted, back shots up the wazoo by Diddy. You could hear both of them. It seemed like Meek Mill was very much into it. But was he actually, or was he forced to do this because Diddy had blackmail on him? We don't know. He kept denying the fact that it even exists, and people have made memes about it because the dude is in complete denial. What's interesting is that shortly after this all leaked, Meek Mill almost died in a car accident because his entire pedal came off.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, nah, they ain't no accident, bro. The pedal don't just automatically just fall out the car one day.
I still think that Diddy was behind this to this day, trying
No
to
shit.
silence him.
Of course,
knows?
Meek Mill
We're
talk a lot
definitely
because Meek talks a lot. Meek absolutely talks too much. Like legitimately, like that's the thing in the hip hop industry. And like, bro, I thought a bird flew in here for a second. Anyway, I saw the shadow in the background. Anyways, like Meek Mill is known for talking a lot. He's known for having Twitter fingers. He's known for always tweet, 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 tweet. Don't even think about it. Just throw it out there, right? And then you got P Diddy, somebody that is currently going through law issues about stuff that he does undercover, and him, they talking to each other. That look, and Meek has his arm around them, right? So you got a dude that talks too much, and you got a dude that does a lot of dark shit. Of course, he gonna want him to disappear, bro. That's absolutely,
still at the tip of
Absolutely.
the iceberg, and I'm not sure I want to see what's at the bottom.
I don't either.
Especially with how just recently on October 1st, 120 new accusers came forward saying that they were all
At least?
minors when they were assaulted by Diddy, with the youngest one being 9 years old.
All right, everybody watching this reaction, we need to take a break. We need to take a quick break. I'm going to look out of this window and get some fresh air because what I'm hearing is absolutely disgusting, and I legitimately like need to take a break because like everybody, moment of silence or whatever. Like I can't do this. Hold on. There are absolutely villains in this world. There's absolutely injustices that need to be solved, and people need to call them out. I, for one, KhunShawn, do not like anything that I'm hearing from this person right here, and I feel like I can't even call them a person. 9 years old. 9 years old. 120 victims. I am lost for words. Absolutely lost for words, bro. This is beyond disgusting. I I hope whatever judge he sits in front of, I hope that judge looks at him dead in his heart, and when he give him that guilty verdict, it's something like life in prison, no parole. You're a flight risk. You have too much money. You have too much status. You have too much. You have too many hush men. You have too many people that'll get rid of somebody because you say so. He's absolutely a terrible person, and there are more terrible people like him. So I hope more of these people. I hope justice is served. This is disgusting.
And remember, these are just the ones that had the courage to come forward.
Exactly.
This guy is devil incarnate.
Yes.
Thankfully, though, he's now being held in a high-security prison in New York, the same one that Jeffrey Epstein was held in. But many people are concerned that the same thing that happened to Jeffrey Epstein will happen to him too.
And I hope not. Even though this is a terrible person, like when I say justice needs to be served, I need P Diddler to start speaking and start talking about other people. Like, to be honest, we don't even know. P Diddy, he might not even be the mastermind. And as crazy as that sounds, it's not far from fiction. It's not far from the truth that he might not be the actual one and only manipulator. He might be with a group of other people doing stuff like this. Because how can you be the only person to do stuff like this and you're the only one to get caught? Absolutely not, man. Like, I hope he starts singing like a bird to try and get some freedom. And I hope he doesn't just disappear. Because if he does, bro, first one was Jeffrey, second one Diddler. Absolutely not, bro. No, there is definitely corruption. There's definitely evil people that walk amongst us, and they need to be singled out, called out, and held accountable for all the misdeeds that they do on this earth.
Where he will perish very mysteriously and suspiciously, and this case will be closed.
I hope
This
not.
prison has a very infamous reputation. Some people call it hell on earth due to its very bad conditions for prisoners. Diddy did everything he could to get bail.
I bet he
any
did.
Problems that would pop up in his life, he wanted to pay himself out of it, saying he'll relinquish his passports. He won't let females come to his mansion anymore, even though that was never the problem. Among other things,
He likes
the
men
judge
too.
thankfully said no. Diddy then went ahead and stated that he was feeling suicidal. So of course people are worried that this is going to be a Jeffrey Epstein 2, where he gets the coward's way out and the victims don't get any justice. Or so we thought. A few days later, out of nowhere, he said he wasn't suicidal anymore and was let go of Suicide Watch. Apparently, Suge Knight, a former Death Row
Suge
Records
Knight.
executive who is currently serving a 28-year sentence for manslaughter, advised Diddy to get out of Suicide Watch immediately, arguing that if he's in there, the legal system will not take him seriously when he tries to defend himself. But, regardless of all this happening,
Suge Knight is evil as well. That man is absolutely evil as well. So two evil people colluding together. Interesting.
people are still very scared to speak out against Diddy, even though he's in a high
course.
security prison. And that should show you just how much of a menace this man is.
Yes.
And honestly, I don't see him perishing anytime soon, because unlike Epstein, he wasn't serving the world elite, okay? He didn't have a president come to his island. The people he had over were celebrities. Nothing that'll really impact the world order. Either way, with every passing day, the more we know about these freak-offs and what he has done over the last 20 plus years,
That's
the
crazy.
crazier
20
things truly
years.
become. Not just in terms of how far his evil can go, but also in terms of how many well-regarded and liked celebrities hung out with him quite often. Stay safe out there, guys, and if there's any new big massive developments on this, I'll probably make another video on it. But for now, I think that's everything major that's been out ever since he was arrested. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that is. I love you so much, and mwah!
Got spare baby oil. I've already said everything I needed to say in this video. I'm disgusted and I'm ashamed. And honestly, I feel like hopefully justice will be served, but I want it to be served to the fullest extent. It's not just the diddler over here that needs to be caught. The people that were working under him, the people that were working next to him, the people that were working above him, they still also need to be called out for their misdeeds on this planet. And it's a shame. It's a shame because those 120 people that spoke out, man, I feel for them, honestly. Like, all victims that go through stuff like this, because it happens every day. Somebody gets kidnapped and then they get forced to do something that they otherwise wouldn't do. You know, these things happen in this world, and I wish it didn't. I honestly wish it didn't. Um, the situation here is immense, and there's a lot of famous and important people involved. Even though, like Mujin said, like it's not the world elite or the presidents, right? These are still people that have significant power in whatever business or whatever they were doing, right? So, and like I said earlier as well, you know, not every single famous or rich person that went to these parties knew exactly what was going on. But I guarantee you there's quite a few that did. And a lot of them probably maybe even helped. And it's a damn shame. Anyways, it's your boy KhunShawn with another real reaction, bro. Like, legitimately, like, there's other reasons why I wear these shades and do-rags, because hearing shit like this, like, this is, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying to, like, sit here, even react to this type of stuff, because there are people that are always going to be watching. They're always going to find out, right? It's not hee hee ha ha. Like, sometimes I watch hee hee ha ha stuff. This is not one of them. Man, y'all stay safe out here. Absolutely stay safe. Be careful. Love your loved ones. Like, even, like, honestly, like what I'm doing these type of reactions, like, it is what it is, right? Because at the end of the day, I know who I am. I know what I stand for, and I know the people that I care about. I've said my message plenty of times, and I've helped change other people's lives for the better. So at the end of the day, hey, I'm not really living for myself anymore. I'm living to help others. So even me, like, saying what I said, you know, even like informing you on who Suge Knight is, because some of you guys might not even know who that is. Like, that guy, another terrible human being. If you want to hear about how terrible that guy is, there's movies about it. There's definitely things about it. And there, yeah, there's a lot of bad people on this earth, and I hope justice prevails. Anyways, it's your boy KhunShawn, man. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, because we are still on the platform. So subscribe if you're new. If you enjoyed what we talked about, if you want me to talk about, you know, more crazy stuff that happens like this, join the Discord down below. Drop it in the video request section. I'll check it out. There's some things on this, on like even the platform, that I don't know about that might be absolutely terrible, and I have no issue talking about terrible things, especially speaking out against terrible things. So yeah, it's your boy KhunShawn. Y'all stay safe out there in the real world and in the internet world, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.